Hello, thank you for joining me. Take the opportunity to come out and get a blast of fresh air. They're still promising us a big wave of snow coming through, so watch this space. But I was wondering if you are affected by people and places. People, I imagine that sometimes there's somebody that you'll see and think, oh, yes, they look very nice. I'd like to get to know them more. Or, oh, yes, wow. And that old feeling. And it's not just teenagers that are struck by that, they used to call love at first sight, or maybe it's just like a lot at first sight, whatever. So there are occasions when I've had the opposite feeling of, well, no way, Jose. And I actually had this with one client once. And I actually felt quite threatened by them. So for the first time ever, when I was working with them, and it was when I was working with the charity, I always made sure I was the one near the door, no matter who it was. But I actually got a rape alarm and put it on the arm of my chair. I told them what it was. Actually, they thought it was hilarious. So they said, could we try it and see what happened? No. And I think actually that probably lightened the feeling between us. I think he was just very, very apprehensive, having been thrown out of so many places, that I would be the same and throw him out. And after that, it was fine. But that initial feeling was one of, ooh. And as for places, I love places like Bolton Abbey, Fountains Abbey, where they are just remnants of what were magnificent buildings many, many years ago. And went to one of them, and it was late afternoon and there was a mist coming down and there was Gregorian chanting being piped out. Wow, that really hit the spot. It felt and sounded and looked amazing. So it had got all of my senses joining in with the feeling, which made it extra special. And the library, of all places, at Trinity College in Dublin, when I walked into there, I just stood still. The friend that I was with carried on walking and then turned round wondering what on earth had happened. And I was just hit by this wall of strong feeling. It wasn't negative, it wasn't positive, it was just acknowledge that this is happening to you, that you are being affected. And I looked round at the books, the old books, the leather-bound books, the ancient books. And I thought, yes, those words contained in there, written how many years ago, written with feeling. And it might sound loopy, but I am sure that I was picking up on that feeling. Does that ever happen to you? I would be interested to go back again and see if I got the same feeling again. But the trouble is, I would go back with the expectation of having it. And as I didn't have any expectation of what would happen, it bowled me over. But then certain sounds, certain feelings can do that. Went to a happening at a local company that they provided these for their staff and invited members of our charity to join them. And one was a big collection of gongs and cymbals and xylophones and things, and one huge great gong. I thought, I want to go at that. And everything else you had to sit cross-legged at, and I just can't sit cross-legged. So I managed to get to the gong. I didn't have to elbow my way through or trip anybody up on the way. And we went through a piece that we were going to do, and different people join in at different times, and then the gong at the end had a big noise to make. Yep, of course, I missed it. I was so engrossed by what the others were doing. We did it again, and I managed to get it in time that time. But going to a proper sound bath, I've tried listening on YouTube to some, and it's not the same. But going to one where the room is filled with the sound of various instruments, and you're lying relaxing. I never thought I would feel so relaxed, but I really did. But not quite so much as when I went to a salt cave. It was nowhere exotic. It was actually in the back of a very ordinary cafe somewhere in one of the small towns around Cheshire. Sadly, it's closed now because I would like to go again. And when you walked in, the ceilings, the walls, the floor, they were all covered with Himalayan salt, the pink salt that we get in the salt lamps. And as you walked, you crunched underfoot. And there was a little stream trickling through and down over little falls. So there was that backdrop of the water. And we sat, reclined in the negative gravity chairs, so our feet were high. We had throws and pillows. It was lovely and comfy. And the lights went out. And then there were lights just flickering on and off on the ceiling. And gentle music and the sound of the water. And the feeling of being surrounded by all of that salt. It was amazing. I was actually woken by my friend who was next to me, whispering, "Dee, you're snoring." So I was obviously very relaxed. But as I say, sadly it closed, and I have looked but never seen another one advertised because I would like to have another go. I've got a salt lamp, but it's not quite such a strong effect as being surrounded by a whole room of it. So on that note, I will say thank you for joining me. Take care. Take the very best care of yourself. If you can include some relaxation in whatever form, do it. Take care. Bye for now, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.